Are you ready to die for the Emperor?
Spiky Bits.
Welcome back, Hobby Maniacs. I'm Rob Baer from SpikyBits.com, and we've got another Army showcase. Well, I guess it's more of an Army of One showcase for you today. Our friends over at castlebrush.eu sent us a nice little package of some Blood Angels, some Terminators, some of those Space Marine heroes from, I guess, last year or so, and also a really amazing magnetized, customized, hand-painted-ized Predator / Rhino tank as well, which is really incredible, and we're going to focus more on that today because this is just simply stunning from a lot of different aspects, and let's talk about that here for a second. Now, you may remember that Abaddon model, oh, there it is right there, that they sent over to us to showcase and promote for them here on the channel. That thing was just simply incredible. And now they've gone the extra mile. They painted up some Blood Angels, which we're about to show you as well. Now, here's the thing. Like, you can go into their little pricing matrix where it kind of breaks down, like, converting, assembly, you know, all this stuff we hate to do as hobbyists, kind of, well, maybe not converting. And then it goes into price points on how they actually price out their miniatures, going all the way up to level 4. I think that Abaddon was like a level 4, and they have a pricing over there as well, with a little bit of extra bells and whistles. Now, what they're saying is that this vehicle that I'm about to show you here in a second is their level 2 kind of champion level, where they use the airbrush for highlights, or excuse me, for laying down the base coat and doing the fades, and then they come in and do some hyper highlights, some edge highlighting, tighten up some of the details and such. We can read it right here. You know, the brush stage, you can expect most details shaded and highlighted, as well as some extra accents. Maybe the purity seal, scars, battle damage. You can paint whole armies at this level. It's more of almost like the traditional kind of heavy metal style, that without the airbrush fading. So that's really cool to see, because it's, you know, as hobbyists, that's kind of what we're used to, so to speak. Now, if you go over here to the pricing, you can kind of give an idea of how much something like this would cost. They didn't give me the exact cost on this because they kind of combined a couple of different levels, so it's really hard to tell. But take out the hyper highlighting or the super freehand that you're about to see here, and just, you know, kind of at the pricing point. This is price per model, including priming, painting, and matte varnish, of course. It doesn't include assembly or anything like that. So if you do all your converting and assembly, this might, you know, be a good kind of thing for you. But, you know, they're more than happy to kind of do everything, I guess, as far as that goes. Now, looking at the small vehicle walker and monster right here, you can see when you go over to level 2, it's between $80 and $156, which, you know, minus all that hyper highlighting, just for that base or that paint job itself, seems pretty reasonable. Yeah, you can find stuff on eBay that's cheaper. But once we take a look at this, you know, this is a traditional kind of combination between airbrushing and hyper highlighting. It's how I like to paint personally. So obviously, I'm very much for this style of painting, but taking a look at the price, I mean, you know, how long would it take you to paint this? Like, I know how long it would take me, and I'm like, here, take my money at this point. Now, of course, there's some extra elements in here, you know, that would probably bump it up maybe a notch or two, but for just the base vehicle itself, which I'm about to show you, that's kind of what you're looking at, and it doesn't, you know, include assembly or any of the magnets or anything like that, which I personally think, you know, depending on where you're at, this is an affordable solution for you. But, you know, for a lot of folks, maybe it's a little too much. You like to prefer your stuff, and that's okay too. But I know kind of where I'm coming from. This seems pretty sensible, and I think it's more reasonable of some of the commission studios out there that we've shown you in the past, for sure. So enough talking, let's get to the actual model itself. So here is the Predator, and you can tell, you know, it looks great just from this view, not taking a look at all the edges, even though you can already see at this level that the edges are all highlighted, you know, all the metals are washed and then re-highlighted, which is great looking. But what I want to point out is this isn't just, you know, sprayed with some red and then basically a base coat and then worked up. They blended, you know, you can see the blends here with the airbrush, which is great, and that's the way I like to paint. You can see it up here too, the blends with the airbrush. You know, that's the sort of thing. Now, me personally, I like to take a little shortcuts here and there on the treads and things. That's a lot of time spent on treads, but you know, if that's not your thing and you want it nice and crisp, heavy metal style, well, Castle Brush is probably the best example of a lot of the commission studios out there that I've seen that really kind of exemplify that GW kind of style of painting right there. So here's the front. You can see they did a little bit of freehand on the Purity Seal tabard right there, and you know, they got the glow on the headlights. They got all the crisp edge highlighting all the way across, and it really stands out where it's dark and there's that super contrast kind of comic book style. Everything's washed, all the lenses are done. And the cool part is that everything's magnetized. Now, if you know anything about the Predator, this spot right here usually breaks, and they replace that with a little bit of PVC tubing, it looks like. I'm gonna go with that, and then just pop the magnet in there. So that's really cool to see. That is kind of a pain in the butt when those things snap out. They weren't exactly designed the best, but everything looks great. And you can even switch out the top here, and we can turn it into a Rhino. One of the cool things I noticed when I was transforming all this stuff is that they even did the back ammo crates, which is something that I would have actually kind of forgot about there. So you can switch out between the Predator style and then even on the sponsons here, they even have where you can switch between the heavy bolters. So pretty much all of the options, including a hunter killer. And I've already equipped the Rhino over here with the hunter killer missile, so I've swapped out everything. You might notice the hatches off. There's a reason for that. I'll show you in a second. All the hatches are magnetized here, and then you can even switch this with, oops, I pulled the whole turret out. Those are some very strong magnets. And you get the little radar dish if you want, or throw the headlight or the searchlight on here, whatever you want to do. They've got the option for it, which is pretty neat how they actually went through and magnetized everything. Now, I didn't want to attach the back hatch because this is where it just gets silly. I don't even know where to start with this thing. This is, you know, Sanguinius doing his thing to Cabanda, probably one of the bloodthirsters. I guess it's kind of hard to tell. Maybe he's doing his little murder stomp, curb stomp on him right there from high up. But yep, that's him with the spear and his sword. Just simply stunning. This is literally all freehand, completely done. They actually have a video over on their YouTube. I'll show you here in a second as well of how they painted all this. And I don't know if they did it all in the lapse time, but it looked to be about 2 hours, which is pretty incredible. Now, just simply stunning. So here's the video. It's titled Sanguinius Freehand Extravaganza, and it is literally 2 hours long. I sped it up as quick as I could, up to 2x speed, and just to kind of skip through some of the spots here, you can see where they've sketched it all out, and then they just start kind of blocking it in. But there's a point where the details already obscure the frameworks, and then it's, you know, it's basically 100% artistry here, just doing everything by hand. And just kind of trying to make it all block in and know where it is. Like, I wouldn't have been able to do those feathers and stuff. I don't know how much something like this would even cost, but I mean, for 2 hours, which I assume is the complete length of the video, not sped up, it's kind of hard to tell. Like I said, it's just stunning. I'll put the link in the comments so you guys can check it out, or you know, maybe just watch it for a few minutes, because even at 2x speed, it would take you literally an hour to watch this whole thing. But it's simply incredible, the talent they have over there. So that is about it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you check out castlebrush.eu. They've got all sorts of stuff up there. They've got galleries, 360-degree stuff, and obviously a lot of talented people over there. For, you know, if you're just looking for something very basic, and I don't even want to damage this freehand mural right here, I feel terrible. You know, if you're just looking for something minus that freehand, you know, this is kind of what you're looking at for that price point, with a little bit of decal work, a little bit of hyper highlights and things. But I feel like it's pretty good. So check them out. You know, next time you're looking to get your army, or maybe just a couple key pieces all painted up. And then here is that Abaddon they sent over for promotion a while back as well. So you can tell whether it's something super silly and over the top but stunning all the same, or just your everyday Rhino, they pretty much got you covered over at Castle Brush. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you can be the very first to like and comment on all our videos.